NicholasDKristof, Half the Sky, Turning Oppression into Opportunity for Women Worldwide. And Half the Sky, Turning Oppression into Opportunity for Women Worldwide, NicholasDKristof explores the atrocities of sex slavery and the treatment of women in various countries. The book delves into the shocking numbers of women enslaved in brothels and subjects like misogyny and gender discrimination. Kristof highlights countries such as India and China, where the scale of prostitution and sex slavery is enormous. The book also discusses the importance of strong leadership and unification in combating sex trafficking, and argues that education and understanding of local customs are paramount in changing mindsets and attitudes toward women and gender equality.
Modern-day sex slavery. Every year, more women are trafficked into brothels than the number of Africans who were enslaved during the 18th and 19th centuries. These women are forced into sex slavery, working 15 hours a day, 7 days a week, and often unpaid, beaten, and humiliated. China has the highest number of prostitutes, but India has the highest number of sex slaves. Slaves are often manipulated, humiliated, and broken down to coerce them into submission. The sex slave trade operates on the idea that upper-class girls can maintain their virtuousness by allowing lower-class girls to be sold into slavery. Border officers in India often allow traffickers and their slaves to cross, believing that the prostitution industry keeps good, middle-class Indian girls safe by sacrificing peasant girls. Slavery is still prevalent in the modern world because slaves are perceived as discounted humans. Unleashing emerging leaders for a unified fight against sex trafficking. Emerging leaders and unity among the abolitionist movement can make a difference in sex trafficking by focusing on victim rehabilitation, empowered femininity, and education. Charismatic leaders like Martin Luther King Jr. and Mahatma Gandhi led the peace movement to success with their inspiring personalities. The abolitionist movement against sex trafficking could also use similar leaders to achieve their goals. Investing in emerging leaders like Zach Hunter is critical to this movement's success. He established Loose Change to Loosen Chains, LC2LC, a student-led campaign against modern slavery when he was only in 7th grade. These emerging leaders bring new energy, ideas, and momentum to the fight to end sex trafficking. A key challenge for the sex slavery abolitionist movement is unifying its efforts. While some believe prostitution is acceptable for consenting adults, others find it inherently degrading. Nonetheless, all agree that forced prostitution is wrong. Therefore, cracking down on brothels, providing social services like job training and drug rehabilitation, and preventing girls from underage working in brothels are essential. Legalizing and regulating prostitution, which aims to minimize harm, has proved ineffective. Rescuing girls from prostitution is easy. However, preventing them from falling back into it is more challenging due to social stigma and drug addiction. Investing in education is one way to help victims and prevent them from returning to brothels. We also need to empower femininity and support strong local women. To make a difference, we need to cultivate emerging leaders and unify our efforts. By focusing on victim rehabilitation, empowered femininity, and education, we can more effectively fight sex trafficking, and eventually, eliminate it altogether. Misogyny and violence across cultures. Violence against women is a pervasive issue globally, and women perpetuate misogyny too. Cultural norms often perpetuate sexism, which is difficult to change given its entrenched nature in society. Education and strong local leadership are necessary to undo the harms of this mindset. Unfortunately, foreign interventions often create more issues since local customs and traditions are overlooked. Women across cultures face gender-based violence, with some, like Zoya Najabi, a victim of domestic violence in Afghanistan, suffering physically and emotionally. Similarly, Noel Rwaburinba, a male child soldier in the Congo, thinks that soldiers have a right to rape people. Therefore, consistent efforts are needed to eradicate misogyny. Maternal mortality, a sociological problem. Women die in labor not because of medical problems but from the lack of education, rural health systems, and a general disregard for women. Sociological solutions are available. Keeping girls in school longer delays marriage and pregnancy. Simish Segei's story illustrates the agony caused by the problem. The impact of religion on gender equality. Despite the increasing number of atheists, religion still has a significant impact on gender equality worldwide. The God gulf between secular liberals and conservative Christians shapes family planning policies in the U.S., resulting in a lack of funding for abortion and increased rates of unsafe and illegal abortions. In some Islamic countries, religion is a major factor in the prevalence of gender inequality and abuses like honor killings. However, Islamic feminists interpret the Quran in a more progressive way, advocating for complete emancipation of women. Muslim leaders are also realizing that gender equality is essential to tapping into their nation's economic potential. While the Quran tends to be read more literally than the Torah or Bible, it was initially a progressive force for gender equality, and can be again. By embracing a more inclusive and egalitarian interpretation of their holy text, Muslim societies can eradicate gender discrimination and empower women. Education and gender equality. Education is key to achieving gender equality, but simply building more schools isn't enough. Solutions like iodizing salt and providing girls with feminine hygiene products can help improve education outcomes. To further the movement for equality, we must adhere to 4 guiding rules and be open to new ideas, such as using television as a tool for social change. Education is a crucial component of achieving gender equality, empowering women and girls to stand up for themselves and become integrated into the economy. However, simply building more schools is not the most effective solution. In fact, iodizing salt has been shown to prevent brain damage caused by iodine deficiency, which can lower a child's IQ by up to 15 points. Additionally, providing girls with access to feminine hygiene products, such as pads and tampons, can keep them in school and prevent them from skipping classes during their periods. To make progress towards gender equality, there are 4 guiding rules that any movement must adhere to. These include building bridges between liberals and conservatives, avoiding exaggeration, financing local projects or volunteering to help women, and being less narrow-minded in our concerns about human life. While education, iodizing salt, and eradicating fistula won't solve everything, they can help raise awareness and put gender equality higher on the international agenda. However, it's important to not limit ourselves to these 4 rules and remain open to new ideas. For example, new studies have shown that television can be a powerful tool for social change. In one Brazilian region, the introduction of a new soap opera on the Globo network led to a decrease in the number of births as women from lower socioeconomic classes stopped having children to emulate the characters they admired. This example highlights the potential of TV to introduce people to new ideas and promote positive change.
In conclusion, Half the Sky emphasizes the importance of promoting gender equality, fighting against sex slavery, and dismantling deeply rooted cultural and religious norms that perpetuate the oppression and ill treatment of women. Kristof demonstrates that education and changing mindsets are key to addressing these issues and acknowledges the potential value of unconventional strategies, such as television, in shaping societal norms. By understanding the root causes of gender inequality and supporting local initiatives, the global community can work towards a future where women are treated fairly and given equal opportunities to thrive. Ultimately, for true change to occur, the international community must work in unison and adopt flexible, innovative approaches to tackle these deeply ingrained problems.